Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Adwa Salsabil Nabiha. My student number is A3202000188. I will read text for chapter 3. The Law of Club and Fang. Hukum Club and Fang. Buck's first day at Dia Beach was terrible. What a change from his comfortable, happy life with the judge in the sunny Southland. Here there was no peace or rest. There was only confusion and noise. There was danger everywhere because these dogs and men were not the city dogs and men. They only knew the law of the club and fang. Hari pertama Buck di pantai dia sangat buruk. Sungguh perubahan dari kehidupannya yang nyaman dan bahagia bersama sang hakim di Southland yang cerah. Di sini tidak ada kedamaian atau ketenangan, yang ada hanya kebingungan dan kebisingan. Ada bahaya di mana-mana karena anjing dan manusia ini bukanlah anjing dan manusia kota. Mereka hanya tahu hukum klub dan taring. Buck never saw dog like this. They fought like wolves. He learned this by watching Carly. She wanted to make friends with a husky. The husky jumped on Carly and he tore her face from eye to mouth. Buck tidak pernah melihat anjing seperti ini. Mereka bertarung seperti serigala. Dia mempelajari ini dengan menonton Carly. Dia ingin berteman dengan Husky. Husky melompat ke Carly dan dia merobek wajahnya dari mata ke mulut. Wolves and Husky fight like this. They attack and then jump away. But this fight was not finished. 30 or 40 Husky came and made a circle around the fight. Carly attacked her enemy, but the Husky beat her again. She fell to the ground and never stood up again. Two other Huskies moved in. Suddenly she was under them. Serigala dan Husky bertarung seperti ini. Mereka menyerang dan kemudian melompat menjauh. Tapi pertarungan ini belum selesai. 30 atau 40 Husky datang dan membuat lingkaran di sekitar pertarungan. Carly menyerang musuhnya, tetapi Husky menggigitnya lagi. Dia jatuh ke tanah dan tidak pernah berdiri lagi. Husky lainnya pindah dan tiba-tiba dia berada di bawah mereka. Buck saw Spitz run away with his red tongue out of his mouth. He was looking. Curly was dead in the snow. Her body was almost in pieces. But often saw the skin in his dream. He understood that when a dog was injured, that was the end. Spitz looked again, and from that moment Buck had him. Buck melihat Spitz kabur dengan lidah mereka keluar dari mulutnya. Dia tertawa. Carly mati di salju. Tubuhnya hampir hancur berkeping-keping. Buck sering melihat adegan ini dalam mimpinya. Dia mengerti bahwa ketika seekor anjing terluka, itulah akhirnya. Spitz tertawa lagi dan sejak saat itu Buck membencinya. Soon Buck had another surprise. Francois put a harness on him. Buck remembered the harnesses on horses at home. So now he must work like horse. He must pull the sled to the forest to get firewood. He was offended, but he decided to work and do his best. He worked with Spitz and Dave, and learned a lot from them. He learned to stop when Francois said "ho," and to go when he said "mush." Segera Buck mendapat kejutan lain. Francois memasang tali kekang padanya. Buck ingat tali kekang pada kuda di rumah. Jadi sekarang dia harus bekerja seperti kuda. Dia harus menarik kereta luncur ke hutan untuk mendapatkan kayu bakar. Dia tersinggung, tetapi dia memutuskan untuk bekerja dan melakukan yang terbaik. Dia bekerja dengan Spitz dan Dave, dan belajar sebanyak dari mereka. Dia belajar berhenti ketika Francois berkata "ho" dan pergi saat dia berkata "mush." The three are very good dogs, Francois told Perrault. Buck pulls well and learn quickly. Ketika anjing itu sangat baik, kata Francois pada Perrault. Buck menarik dengan baik dan belajar dengan cepat. That afternoon, Peril bought two huskies called Billy and Joe. They were brothers. Billy was very friendly, but Joe was the opposite. In the evening, Peril bought another dog called Soul Legs. He was an old husky with only one eye. He made no friends and wanted to be alone. Sore itu, Peril membeli dua husky bernama Billy dan Joe. Mereka adalah saudara. Billy sangat ramah tetapi Joe sebaliknya. Di malam hari, Peril membeli anjing lain bernama Soul Legs. Dia menggunakan husky tua hanya dengan satu mata. Dia tidak punya teman dan ingin sendiri. That night, Buck had another problem. Where could he sleep? Francois and Peril were in their tent. When Buck tried to enter, they shouted angrily at him. It was terribly cold and windy outside. Malam itu, Buck mendapat masalah lain. Di mana dia bisa tidur? Francois dan Perrault ada di tenda mereka. Saat Buck mencoba masuk, mereka berteriak marah padanya. Di luar sangat dingin dan berangin. He tried to sleep in the snow, but it was too cold. Buck walked sadly around the tent. He looked for the other dogs, but he could not find them. Where were they? But Buck was very cold and unhappy. He did not know what to do. Dia mencoba untuk tidur di salju, tapi itu terlalu dingin. Tapi berjalan dengan sedih di sekitar tenda. Dia mencari anjing lain, tetapi dia tidak dapat menemukannya. Di mana mereka? Buck sangat dingin dan tidak bahagia. Dia tidak tahu harus berbuat apa. Suddenly, he fell into a hole. He felt something move and then heard a friendly bark. Under the snow in the warm hole, he saw Billy. Billy licked Buck's face with his warm, wet tongue. Tiba-tiba dia jatuh ke dalam lubang. Dia merasakan sesuatu bergerak dan kemudian mendengar gonggongan remah. Di bawah salju, di lubang hangat, dia melihat Billy. Billy menjerat wajah Buck dengan lidahnya yang hangat dan basah. Another lesson. So that was how the dog slept. Buck just placed and made a hole. In a minute, he was warm and asleep. He slept well, but had bad dreams. Pelajaran lain, jadi begitulah cara anjing tidur. Buck memilih tempat dan membuat lubang. Dalam 1 menit, dia merasa hangat saat tertidur. Dia tertidur nyenyak tetapi mengalami mimpi buruk. The work was hard, but Buck liked it. He was surprised that Dave and Soul Legs were not bored now. Pulling in a harness was their job and they were happy. All the dogs were alert and active. Pekerjaan itu berat, tetapi Buck menyukainya. Dia heran, Dave dan Soul Legs tidak bosan sekarang. Menarik tali kekang adalah tugas mereka dan mereka bahagia. Semua anjing waspada dan aktif. Billy was the sled dog. She was nearest to the sled. Dave was in front of him. Then 3 was Buck. In front of them were Buck's teacher. When Buck pulled the wrong way, Dave always beat his less likely. Buck learned it quickly. Billy adalah anjing kereta luncur yang paling dekat dengan kereta luncur. Dave ada di depannya. Lalu 3 adalah Buck. Di dalam mereka ada guru Buck. Ketika Buck menarik dengan cara yang salah, Dave selalu menggigit lesnya dengan ringan. Buck belajar dengan cepat. It was a hard journey up the canyon. Through sheep camp and into the mountains. That night they camped at the lake barn. Thousands of gold miners were there. Buck made his hole in the snow and slept well. Itu adalah pelajaran yang sulit mendaki ngarai. Melalui camp domba dan ke pegunungan, malam itu mereka berkemah di Danau Banat. Ribuan penambang emas ada di sana. Buck membuat lubang di salju dan tidur nyenyak. Very early the next morning, Buck and his team started pulling the sled again. That day they traveled 40 miles on a good trail. But the next day there was no trail. The dogs worked harder and they traveled slowly. Keesokan harinya, Buck dan timnya mulai menarik kereta luncur lagi. Hari itu mereka melakukan perjalanan sejauh 40 mil melalui jalur yang bagus. Tapi keesokan harinya tidak ada jejak. Anjing-anjing itu bekerja lebih keras dan mereka melakukan perjalanan dengan lambat. Perrault usually went in front of the dogs with his nose shush. He made the snow flat. Francois guided the sled from behind. Perrault was in a hurry. He knew all about ice and this was very important. In the fall, the ice was very thin. Perrault biasanya pergi ke depan anjing-anjing itu dengan sepatu saljunya. Dia membuat salju menjadi datar. Francois memandu kereta luncur dari belakang. Perrault sedang terburu-buru. Dia tidak tahu semua tentang es dan ini sangat penting. Pada musim gugur, es itu sangat tipis. Day after day, Buck worked hard and pulled the sled. The dogs started before it was light and stopped in the evening after dark. They ate piece of fish and went to sleep. Buck was always hungry. Every day he ate a pound and a half of fish, but it was never enough. One day he saw another dog called Pike steal meat from Perrault. Buck did the same the next day and no one saw him. Hari demi hari, Buck bekerja keras dan menarik kereta luncur. Anjing-anjing memulai sebelum hari terang dan berhenti di malam hari setelah gelap. Mereka makan sepotong ikan dan pergi tidur. Buck selalu lapar. Setiap hari dia makan setengah kilo ikan, tapi itu tidak pernah cukup. Suatu hari dia melihat anjing lain bernama Pike mencuri daging dari Perrault. Buck melakukan hal sama keesokan harinya dan tidak ada yang melihatnya. Buck was learning to live in the hostile Northland. In the Southland, he never stole, but he was never hungry. In the Southland, there was the law of love and friendship. The man with the red sweater taught him the law of club and fun. Buck sedang belajar untuk hidup di Northland yang tidak bersahabat. Di Southland dia tidak pernah mencuri tapi dia tidak pernah lapar. Di Southland ada hukum cinta dan persahabatan. Pria dengan sweater merah mengajarinya hukum tongkat dan taring. He learned to eat all kinds of food. He learned to fight and became very clever. He became stronger and more primitive. The natural forces inside of him became alive. It was easy for Buck to fight like a wolf because it was in his blood. At night he looked at a star and howled, like his ancestor did long ago. Buck was following in his instinct. Dia belajar makan semua jenis makanan. Dia belajar bertarung dan menjadi sangat pintar. Dia menjadi lebih kuat dan lebih primitif. Kekuatan alam di dalam dirinya menjadi hidup. Mudah bagi Buck untuk bertarung seperti serigala karena itu ada di dalam darahnya. Di malam hari dia melihat bintang dan melolong. Seperti nenek moyangnya, dulu Buck mengikuti nalurinya. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.